Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to install RStudio in your phone. And so you go to my GitHub, which is called Termux France. I will put the link, and then here I have different scripts. One is to install SSH, which helped me to run the commands from the computer. Then we have CSH, which it's a nice interface for Termux. So right now, for example, it doesn't predict what do I want to write my comments, but if I install this, then we will get a nicer interface. But there is a bug with CSH, which if you press the space button, then whatever is in the left of the cursor, when you press enter, it will disappear. But that is a small bug. So now it's installed, so I can execute with CSH, and then I press the L and then tap, and then it gives me a prediction of what I want to type. And the next time I want to type, it gives me a prediction of based on the history, and with the right key I can predict it. Right now I don't have anything, that's why ls doesn't show anything. And then there are two ways to install. We want to install Ubuntu, and I have a rooted phone, so we can use the rooted method, which makes the container of Ubuntu faster, because it doesn't have to simulate or emulate commands, and the rootless has to do that emulation, so it's a bit slower. You can choose the rootless for most people. I will go with the rooted, and I made it very easy. So you just paste this, and then it asks you for a desktop name. You can put whatever you want or leave it empty, and this will download a script that I have in my GitHub, so you don't have to mess around with the comments. It just automatically does everything. Right now it's installing Rurima, which it allows you to download different Linux distributions, and by default I set up to download Ubuntu, the latest version, which is the Noble. And also this Rurima comes with Ruri, which is a tool to use to run this Ubuntu for rooted devices. And for the rootless versions, it uses Daijin, which is a wrapper for root, which allows you to enter the Ubuntu for the non-root devices. So right now it is downloaded the image of Ubuntu. And while this is going on, also it is important to in your notifications to acquire wake lock. So when you like go to another app and it is still running in the background, Termux, at full speed, because if you don't do that, then it will become slower when you switch to another app. And so we can see here other things that we have in my GitHub. We have scripts to install a desktop environment, which requires you to install this Termux X11 app, which is also in the Play Store. We also have scripts to install some desktop apps like Firefox, the web browser. We have VS Code, but right now VS Code is not working very well for the root, for the non-root, but it's working good with the rooted version. I don't know why. And then I also tried VS Codium because if you want, then we have also this R script, which is very important because I have done a video about how to install RStudio before in the past, and it had to build from source and compile the RStudio, but now we don't need that because we have already compiled versions for IRM64 CPU architecture. Let me see if we finished. Seems like I got an error. I will try to run it again. My internet connection is not very stable, so maybe that was the error. So what I was telling you guys is that now we have already compiled versions of RStudio, so we can download it and it installs very quickly. But this Ubuntu, okay, now we finish. Now we can go to the next step. So this is RStudio Desktop, but for the non-root versions, no, sorry, RStudio Desktop is not working yet for the desktop environment, but the RStudio server is working fine for both the root and the rootless. So I am going to use the rooted, and then I paste it here, and this is going to call the previous script that was before to install R. And also I noticed that when you install packages in Ubuntu, it's even in the desktop versions of Linux, when you want to install packages like ggplot, it is very slow because it compiles from source by default. But I found a method to download the already compiled packages, and that is what it's going to do here. And it is also useful for Linux computers, not necessarily for like Ubuntu, not necessarily for Android devices that are installing RStudio server. If you go to the container scripts, there is install R binaries, and in this script is going to install this package that allows you to download the compiled packages, this BSPM, and you can run this script in your Linux computer, and you will save a lot of time when you are going to try to install packages, and also you will save a lot of problems because sometimes compiling some packages in Ubuntu is very difficult. And so let's see how it's going. It takes a while to download all the dependencies because this Ubuntu image that we downloaded, it's very small and it has the minimum packages, so it has to install a lot of packages. And yeah, I also want to install VS Code for. I also have here some VS Code server, which makes it work VS Code for the non-root method, because for the rooted method you can just install the desktop environment, and then you can use VS Code from there. But for the non-root, I decided to try to install this VS Code server, so it works there. But I am still having issues because I want to use ChatGPT codecs in extension in the VS Code, but for some reason I cannot do it from the VS Code server. But in the desktop environment, I was able to install it VS Code, and it just works fine. Okay, so in the script now it's downloading the RStudio package application. For some reason, the root container doesn't show the progress bar of the downloads. I think there is a bug that can be solved later, but it is still downloading. It's just that we don't see the progress bar. And doing all of these scripts took me a lot of time. Because I wanted to stick first to the desktop environment, but RStudio in the desktop environment wasn't working, so I had to go back and use the RStudio server, so it works in the phone. And I don't like the RStudio server interaction in the phone when you open the web browser, because you cannot use your fingers as a mouse. But if you have a tablet, then you can connect a mouse to the tablet and connect a keyboard, and then it works perfectly. But if you want to use with just your fingers, then I don't like it. But you could also have this RStudio installed in your phone, and then you can run it, and then you can connect it from your computer using the IP of your phone, and that works very nice. And then you will have a portable RStudio. It's taking a while. I think it's because, I don't know, RStudio maybe is heavy, or maybe my internet is slow. What else do we have here? I also made a repair apt script in case apt fails for some reason. This is important also to access in the internal storage. You use this Termux set of storage, and then you can access the files in your phone. And so we can do this. While this is downloading, I can create another terminal, and then I will paste this. and now we should have the storage. Usually it asks you to allow the Termux to access your files, but I already did. I already gave it permits to Termux. I don't know why this isn't working. I don't know if I should try to stop it. Okay, it finished. I was about to stop it, but I think in the prod container the progress bar is working fine. It's just in the root method I think that the progress bar is not showing. Now it is unpacking RStudio. Okay, now it asks you for a password which you have to remember. And also asks you for a password for another user if you want to enter as non-root, but you have to enter as root if you want to install packages. So now it says you can open this URL to test RStudio. We can go here, localhost, and then it's 8787, and then use the credentials for root, the password that you set. Okay, I got unauthorized user. But here it says root login is enabled, and it should be in this. So let me see. Let's see what is inside that. Yeah, it says out minimum user ID 0. So I don't know why it says unauthorized user. Maybe I have to restart. So if I go to the let me see if it was stopped. Okay, now let's start again. If I use not that one. Let's see if now I can log in as the root user. Okay, I have to correct the scripts, but for now you can just stop RStudio and then go back again, and I will show you that I don't have the library, let's say ggplot, but if we do install packages, I don't remember it's I forgot how to write, and then use this. And then it will normally it is very slow because it compiles from source all the dependencies, but now it just has to download the dependencies, and look, it was very fast. So now if I do it worked. That's amazing. And yeah, you can use this, and that's it. And give a like so I can keep working on this, improving this script. Yeah, and that's it. Bye.